Hello everyone, welcome back. It is Sunday morning, last Sunday in October 2019, and what I'm doing is we've had some rain. You can probably see the mud puddles. What I'm doing, I rode up to this farm that we cover cropped last week to see if we're getting any germination, and just kind of check the status of it, see what it looks like. We've had relatively good weather for it, but you never really know. A couple reasons for cover cropping in the wintertime. Probably the biggest one is erosion in our area. Of course, on this particular plot, erosion's not that big a deal, although it is a low area. Water does tend to stand in it, but one of the biggest ones is erosion. Another one is adding nutrient value and organic matter to the soil. So that is the biggest reasons for cover cropping. Reasons not to cover crop, depending on the crop that you're going to put in behind it, the soil type, and stuff like that. Now, typically, if we don't cover crop, we try not to leave just a fallow field. What we try to do is do fall or winter tillage. But what we put on here was a mixture of winter rye and clover, and I can see that the winter rye is looking pretty good, and I can show you. I hope you can see it. And it goes on and on and on, goes on and on up through there. So it has germinated, which is good. And now if we get some warmer temperatures, it's got enough moisture, it should grow. That's the plan anyhow. The reason that the landlords wanted a legume clover in it is that this is in one of the government conservation tillage programs. We didn't put it in it. We're not involved with it other than just tenants, and so there's requirements that they want done to the fields as landowners. So part of our lease is we try to do what they ask us to do with the property. So but it looks good. As far as organic matter, the organic matter left over from the corn fodder and the weeds, there'll be more organic matter produced from that than the cover crop itself, because the timing of putting the cover crop in versus the time how much it'll grow before I till it, there will be some benefit, no doubt, but it won't equal out, if you will. As far as not cover cropping, a lot of times it's soil type. If it's a heavy clay in our area, now if you cover crop year after year after year after year after year and incorporate enough organic matter into that heavy clay, it'll help break it up. What you run into a lot of times is with the heavy clay is if I wait to spring to till it, I cannot break it up good enough to prepare a good seed bed, depending on the crop I'm growing, which runs into problems. Now, ideally, what we would do with our heavy clay soils is plant them early, get them out of production early, and put a cover crop on them early, like a summer cover crop, and then till them in the fall, and add that organic matter. And then by tilling them in the fall, you get the freeze-thaw cycle to help break that clay soil down, and you're incorporating a cover crop. That's ideal. This is real world. Timing of that, time resources can be a problem, but you know, that's kind of along those thoughts. So we've got this property cover cropped. We've got one other property cover cropped. We lack one more to cover crop, and then the rest of them, we like the pumpkin patch, the 5-acre pumpkin patch, to have it cover cropped. And then the rest of them will probably get, we'll go ahead and moldboard plow them as quickly as possible. Now, if you're moldboard plowing, as far as erosion, you still get some wind erosion, and you may, in extreme weather conditions, get some water erosion. But on a hillside, if it's moldboard plowed properly, it will actually hold the soil very well. So that's kind of where we're at. This is, like I said, this is probably my favorite farm that we farm. I don't know what you can see off in the distance, but the squash patches 2 are cover crop. They were cover crop at the same time. So we should get a good stand in here. The wildlife will enjoy it, the deer, etc., etc. The only thing I like closing this farm completely out of 2019 is I've got to remove some debris and trash over there. But other than that, this farm is 2019 season is complete and finished on this. Now, that's kind of where we're at right now. We'll be trying to get some more rest of cover crop, and kind of the process is on the cover cropping, and the videos on this kind of explain that. Is we go in, we mow it off, and we do a light tillage with disc just to chop up the debris and residue more than anything, and to prepare a little bit of a seed bed. We broadcast the seed, and then we do another light tillage to incorporate the seed in. And that's the steps on the cover crop. Now, of course, cover cropping is more expensive than just fall tillage. You have your time and your fuel expenses of 3 trips across the property, and then of course you have your seed cost. But the benefits can offset that if you get enough nutrient value, you know, enough benefit to the soil. It can offset those costs versus just a 1-pass moldboard plow. 2-pass, you still have to mow it before you plow it. So so there's pros and cons. A lot of times when we talk about cover crops, and we run into this a lot in agriculture, there is methods and philosophies in agriculture that are good, sound methods and philosophies, but they're not the be-all, do-all in every situation. And a lot of times people will say, well, you know, cover cropping's good. It came out of conservation programs and everything, which it is, and it is good. But there are times, there's exceptions to every rule. And just because a method is a good method doesn't mean in some situations that there's another method that works better for that particular situation. In farming, ideally, most good farmers that I know, and I'm not talking about agribusiness folks or tractor drivers, I'm talking about true people that farm, is they incorporate a lot of different good methods into their system, and they blend and they mix and they tweak the methods and their systems to make it all work together good. And that's what we try to do. That's our strive. That's what we strive to do. We try to take our production, our resources, our ground, and all the good methods and incorporate them into what's best for the crops we grow and the soil in which we grow them. And so that's kind of along those lines. Someone may ask, would I cover crop this field if it was not in conservation tillage? Probably would. I do like using cover crops where I can and when I can. Would I cover crop every piece of ground that I had if I had the time, resources, and everything? More than likely, I would. But like I stated before, some of them I would want to do a summer cover crop and do a fall tillage. versus a winter cover crop. So, you know, that's my take on that. Now, once again, that's my take. It's not the way we do it. I mean, that's the way we do it. I'm not recommending, you know, if you're farming and you've been doing it any length of time, you probably understand this statement. You got to know your soil, know your dirt, if you will, what it likes, what it needs for the crops that you're growing on it. So you've got to understand the ground you're working and try to get what your end result out of it. That as a farmer is your most precious resource, is the ground in which you grow. Whether you're growing cattle, the ground in which you grow the feed for the cattle, whether you're growing vegetables, whether you're growing whatever, that is your most precious resource. So anything that you do in your operation should be geared around benefiting and preserving that resource. So if you like what we're doing and would like to follow along, please subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you'll know when we put up a video. And you know, if you have if you like a video we put up, hit the like button. You know, if you have a question or a comment, please do so. I try to get back to them. I'm not going to promise I'm not going to get to all of them. But anyhow, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. We live in an absolutely beautiful area, and it's a gorgeous fall day here in Western North Carolina. Everyone take care of yourself. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.